All right, here we go. Hello and welcome back to the Dash Podcast. I'm your host, Trey Gimmage, and I have with me today a brother I met a few weeks ago in Baltimore, Maryland, by the name of Rob King. He's an activist, he's a speaker, and he's an advocate for young folks to get us on the right path and fix your mind. He's got a book called In My Mind for a Day by Rob King, and I'm really excited to talk to this man. Super powerful speaker. Rob, in Baltimore with the Maryland School Psych Association, you really snapped off and you really made a connection with your story and tying that into what a lot of our kids are going through, man. So that's my introduction for you. Everybody that's listening, you're in for a real treat today. We're going to get into a conversation with him. And of course, before we get going, this episode is brought to you by SEL Educators, and you can find out more at SELeducators.com. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube at SEL Educators as well. Rob, how you doing, sir?
I'm good, Trey. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, living the life, living the dream. You know, I have to say, and we can start with that Maryland conference because that was a moment for me. You know, and I think it was for you, myself, and Dr. Byron McClure, Doc himself. You know, getting to present what we got to present 10 culturally affirming practices for your school community. It was powerful. You know, it was powerful, Rob, and I'm excited to dig into your conversation. Is there anything else? What else do people need to know about your activism and what you got going on with youth and schools?
Oh yeah. So one of the things, recent things that I'm shooting for, Trey, is a production that I'm trying to get off the ground. It's called The Aftermath. So the aftermath is basically about, uh, you can shoot somebody, kill somebody, but the aftermath you don't stick around for. So after the gun smoke, after the gunshots rang out, the gun smoke's clear, it's a body on the ground, lives shattered. You know what I mean? So man, it's devastation after that. And a lot of people, that might commit this crime for whatever reason, right, Trey, they don't stick around. They don't stick around to pick up the pieces.
Mm, mm. You said the community doesn't stick around. Uh-oh. So, Rob, man, the aftermath, you hit on so many pieces right there in terms of what happens after a death or a murder happens and all the pieces that are there to pick up. And did you say it's the community that doesn't stick around after a murder to pick up those pieces
It's
in the aftermath?
it's the perpetrator that don't
Perpetrator.
stick around. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying?
mm,
Nobody sticks around for that. Because of
mm,
course they try and get away, but it's like so much devastation
mm.
that takes place after that. You
Yeah.
should hear some of the stories of some of the mothers. I just talked to someone the other day, and I believe this mother had more than one of her sons killed, and one of the story is that she keeps her son's bloody clothes, the clothes he was
Wow.
actually murdered in, and it's been 5 years, and
Mm,
keep his room is the same as well. She don't
mm,
she want to try to keep things as close as possible as what they used to be. You
mm.
know what I mean? So it's just it's devastating impact that it have on especially
Yeah.
these mothers.
So, man, Rob, so I kind of want to work backwards with you, you know, and I know we can go in chronological order and talk about where you started and how you got to where you're at now. But you're advocating right now, you're speaking on murder. You're speaking
Yes.
on cleaning up the streets in your work. And I mentioned you're an advocate and an activist. What are you an advocate for, and what is your activism?
Yeah. So I'm an advocate for peace, forgiveness, restorative justice. You know what I mean? Wholeness. I'm an advocate for that all day long. Peace, love, wholeness, all these things. Because I know that we need it. I know that we need
Hmm.
it. Um, and so what was the other the question?
It was about how dang, I lost myself too. I'm gonna cut this part out as well.
Okay.
Not bad. Oh, it was okay. It was, what is your activism
Mhm.
stand for and what are you advocating for?
Okay. That's almost sound like it
It,
almost sound like
it is kind of one and the same. So and when I say that, so advocating would be like, who are you being a voice for?
okay, okay,
And then the activism part is like, how are you doing that? And so like your
okay,
activism, to me, I
okay,
feel like your
yeah,
activism is your workshops and
yeah,
like what we
right,
did at
right,
MSPA, that was your
right,
activism, but you were
right,
advocating for the little Black boys that are growing
yeah,
up in
yeah,
this
yeah,
world.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
how
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
seeing
yeah.
it.
That's about right. I had to fix it in my mind,
Okay,
but
okay.
but yeah, but yeah, most definitely, Trey. I'm most definitely advocating for young black males. I don't shy away from our sisters, but I most definitely advocate for our young black males because I feel like Generation X, from which I come from, will be passed down. Man, was a lot of uh, low standards and a lot
Mm,
of death, man, and a lot of hatred. And actually,
mm,
some of these kids inherited some of the beefs that we created, and
man.
and um and the things that I do when I advocate for them. So I do a lot of what I call dramatic presentations. So they presentations that some of the scenarios I create, some of the things that they go through in life, like just identity crisis. You know
Mm,
what I mean? A lot of them identify with want to be demons and anything else besides human.
mm,
So one of the things I use, I might like you see, I use the lion costume. So I might use a lion costume and help identify with them. Hey, listen, I understand what you have to do every day.
mm,
I understand that your community is volatile and it's hostile. And understand that you gotta sometimes wake up every day and pretend to be something that you're not in order to survive. So basically I come along with that costume and say, ah, you can take it off. I understand what you're going through. You can take it off,
mm,
man. You know what
mm.
I'm saying? And we can do it step by step, because sometimes peeling off those layers, right, of trying to survive so long,
Yeah.
sometimes, you get lost in that and you're afraid. So we just kind of help them, feel comfortable with understanding, hey, your validation don't gotta come with some of these codes in the street that that normally
Mm-hmm.
death comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Death comes
Mm-hmm.
with it, and it's no way to live. It's no way to
Yeah,
live.
yeah, for real. So when we met, we were presenting to school psychologists, primarily in the state of Maryland, and your presentation was geared towards helping them understand, like, as a psychologist, we're dealing with the students that have significant needs. They need major support, and the presentation that you delivered came from a place that helped them understand who they're talking to.
Yes.
And you're talking about advocating for young Black boys, you know, and you mentioned that we, and it's so real, Rob. You mentioned that
Yeah.
young Black boys identify as beasts, as
Yeah.
demons.
Yeah.
That hurts me to say. Honestly, that
Hmm.
that kind of hurts to say that
Yeah.
that's how we identify, and it's a crisis. And so, Rob, man, the way that you were able to tell the story about your upbringing and your trials and your tribulations and how you put on the mask of a beast and it wasn't real.
Hmm.
I think that story resonates or resonated with that crowd. Can you give me kind of a I'm working backwards a little bit. So I think you set us up well. We know you're an advocate, we know you're an activist, we know you advocate for Black boys, and we have the information that it's about violence, and you're advocating for honestly a language that we don't know how to really speak ourselves
Yeah.
until you're in a position that you're in. And we're recording this episode at the time of Takeoff just died from Migos and was killed by, from what I've heard, from um one of his homies,
Yeah.
and somebody was wearing a mask, and unfortunately that beast was let out, and that might not be who that person really was. So can you kind of walk me through, and this may be your story now, or it may be the story we told at MSPA, but talk me through that concept, Rob, and whether through your own lens and your experience, or how young black boys are wearing a mask and we don't know how to take it off.
Yeah, I think that we made it a thing. Like I always say this, that what the millennials and Generation Z consider be the norms, their social norms in reference to it's no, they say what the youngest what they say, when I see you, it's on sight.
Mm.
It's like no conflict resolution. We're not gonna talk this out. It ain't gonna be no peace. I'm gonna bust your head. I'm gonna hit your head. We always gonna resolve it. It's always gonna be resolved in the most violent way possible. And they think you get a badge of honor for that.
Because if you
Right?
don't respond like that, you all kinds of words.
Yeah. Like you weak. For that's what makes me mad about this culture. Right? See, I'm not gonna see. You're not gonna come and tell me, "Hey, this the culture, and that's what it is." When I know, in the '70s, when I was coming up, the same stories I was telling when we was out in Maryland, I know that at one point I did not have to worry about was I gonna die tomorrow, was my friends gonna die tomorrow. Matter of fact, we wasn't even hearing no gunshots like that. We wasn't seeing no guns or none of that. I remember we couldn't get our hands on nothing like that. It just wasn't a thing. It was not a thing. What the norm for us was Boys and Girls Club. You might get in a fight here and there, but we ain't killing each other. It wasn't no black on black. What we see right now, 14 and 15-year-old kids killing each other. Nah, that wasn't a social norm back then. So what happens is Generation X, when they brought all them drugs and them guns in here, Trey, this is what we did. We created what CFSA called communities of violence.
What's CSFA?
Children. It is.
I'm gonna look it up for us.
It is. Children's. You know you gotta cut this.
I got you.
It is. It's. Dang. I had to take it for being a mandatory reporter. CFSA is Children's. CFSA. Yeah, that's Children Family Service Administration. Children Family Service Administration. There.
Okay, so I'm gonna do a clap. So I'm gonna.
Okay. Oh, you cue me in?
No, I got you. So that's that clap is gonna let the man that edits the video, that's gonna let him know when to start. But I'm gonna just tell him, hey, start the video now. And here we go. So tell me, Rob, what is CSFA?
It is Children Family Service Administration.
Okay. And they reported that we created communities of violence.
Yes, they identify with the communities in Washington, D.C. They identify with some of the communities as communities of violence. And they in that report, they saying that as mandated reporters, right? We supposed to report like child neglect or child abuse. We don't report things that's in reference to that may take place in what they would call a community of violence. We won't report violence. We only reporting abuse and neglect.
Wow.
But they identify with a lot of these environments or neighborhoods as violence of communities of violence. Which I keep saying that Generation X created what they are calling communities of violence. And I'm saying all this stuff that they keep doing with this whole thing as identifying as being a killer or having a need to prove yourself as a man violently, right? It's a thing that involved and it started with us. And let me tell you, we did it so good, we set it in stone. It's almost unshakable. That's why we gave birth to what we see right now. That's our baby. All that violence, what we see, all these young kids killing each other, we gave birth to that.
And that's
our responsibility.
From the 70s going into the 80s. 80s is the crack era, correct?
Yes.
So that's when you get the influx of drugs. You probably get the same influx of guns. Some folks say it was the government that sent those things in. I don't know, what if that's right or wrong. The
Yeah,
reality is we here right now. So
yeah, for
going
sure.
through that, Rob, like being one of the creators of the community of violence or in that community, how did you contribute to, or how did you fall a victim to a community of violence?
Well, with me, like I said in Maryland, at the conference, for me, part of it started was when my parents got on drugs. Um, and I was kind of forced to go outside to at least sell drugs. Now, I want to say this for the record. My parents, beautiful people, before we had this whole drug thing that came in that ravished our family, man, listen, my parents provided us with the best that they can do. And I'm telling you, they did. They provided for us. We did not go without, you know what I'm saying? So I want to say
Mhm.
that. However, there was an error where my parents began to use drugs. And then during this time, man, I basically had to like provide for myself.
Mm.
So eventually I went outside and it was easy to get drugs back then. It was plentiful. Money was plentiful. It was right out my door. You know what I'm saying? And all I wanted to do was just eat.
Mhm.
I wasn't trying to get into the whole thing with the guns and all that and try and prove that I'm a gangster. I go hard. I'm just trying to eat, man. That's it. But unfortunately, when you go into that life, it became it became dangerous. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? So picking up that pistol became a part of, or if you want to eat, at some point
Man.
you're gonna have to, yeah.
So take me in a little bit here too, Rob. And if I'm asking too many questions, you can let me know. But if you when you stepping outside, you're trying to get into the game, is it like, you see in the movies, yeah, I'm just here for the taste, and then you get the taste like, man, I need some more of this, man. Hey, this money,
Yeah,
yeah, I could eat, now I could pay my bills too. I could
yeah,
let me just snowball this
yeah.
thing. So did it get dangerous because you just wanted to dive deeper, or did it get dangerous like, hey, you stepping in it, this is what you stepping into, period.
Well, it both,
Okay.
both. So it is addiction that come with it because you don't want to stop because you found the way to
Mm,
provide for yourself. And then it gets like this little sweet spot to it where it's like, man, I this just almost look promising. You know what I
mm-hmm,
mean? Especially before the trouble come. So before you had to like use that pistol, it's like money, cars, and everything else. You know
mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So, but then as time go on, for me personally, it was like a vain side of it that took place within my life. I started wanting it because I saw that it get me attention. You know what I'm saying? It give me
Mm-hmm.
attention. Some of the girls I like, it was giving me attention for them. So that was the vain side of it. So,
Mm.
you know, and then it became more dangerous because the people that was playing the game started playing the game dangerously.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So then there was people we used to call the stick up boys, or we used to call them robbers. So they gonna stick you up, or they're gonna rob you, gonna kidnap you. So it started getting dangerous like that.
Mm.
So the game started to change.
Mm.
You know, I think the game was already kind of dangerous anyway. But however,
It evolved when you got in it.
yeah, when I got it involved,
Mm.
especially amongst young people.
So
Yeah,
so tell me this, because I see, I mean, and I live in South Carolina, man. I'm in rural communities. I see fifth graders that throwing up gang signs, or in these small little 8,000 town communities, we claiming blood and crip and doing stuff like that. How long, Robin? I know I'm gonna ask you specifically, and you could answer for yourself or generally. How long did it take you to get in the game, start getting comfortable in the game, to realize like, man, I might be in too deep right now? Like, how long did that take from I'm in it to I'm in it?
it took a little minute because um the mid I kind of did and dab in '85 in the mid '80s. I kind of dipped and dabbed. Just went in, get a little money, eat. You know,
Dip
didn't get
out.
no more pack, get back out there. But I think as by time that late '80s, '88,
Mm.
'89, then when all the trouble came with the beef, somebody trying to take something from you, you know what I mean? Everybody started doing this whole thing. They had this thing where you grit. It was this whole thing with people just you acting mean, you gritting, and then
What's a grit? Show me. Is that a
just like
visual?
a
Mm.
somebody mean
Mm.
mugging you, mean
Yeah.
mugging you. So that became a thing, and we started responding off of that. Like it's almost like okay, now in the game, oh, now it's like you can't let nobody do certain things or look at you a certain
Mm.
way. You know what I mean?
So if you grit at
Because
me, I gotta buck up too now.
at least I'm a mean mug you back.
And Rob, so and I want to just tie this in. I got little girls in my class in sixth grade, eighth grade, rolling their neck, popping their eye. She's staring at me, ready to pop off because somebody looking at them. It's like, yo,
Mhm.
relax. This it's all good. Like we don't have to be angry off of this right now. But that's
Yeah, yeah,
and I'm just saying that so you can see, like we talking about the street, but here's how the street shows up in the
yeah,
classroom.
yeah, yeah. It trickles down. I call it a ripple effect because they speaks about one generation and heard and the generation before them you heard their debt, right? So it's the same thing. It's like whatever we contribute to society and to our communities, those generation under us, they learn these behaviors. You see what
Mm.
I'm saying? So if they
Mm-hmm.
see us mean mugging, they see if there's a little girl coming with the pop in her neck and rolling her eyes, you see what I'm saying? She saw somebody communicating in that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
So they basically mimic what
Yeah.
they see. You see what I'm
And, and
saying?
and all we see in the classroom, especially if you're not a part of this culture, when you in the classroom, you just see a black girl with an attitude and her mom must not be raising her right, or that, oh, he must not have no daddy at home. You don't see the depth of where these types of
Yeah, yeah,
things come from. It ain't just that
yeah.
I'm rolling my eyes, that I'm popping my neck. This is ingrained
It's
generationally
ingrained.
down to this
Yes.
level. And so while you trying to talk to me, I'm an SEL man. You could talk to me about SEL. My mama said F the police. If they come
Hmm.
knocking, I ain't, and I'm making stuff up, but I'm seeing that connection there, Rob.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
seeing that connection. So
yeah,
what was next? You get into the late '90s, and I imagine this is the time where you start becoming and embodying that beast,
yeah,
and putting on, and I'll let you tell that part when you put on your
yeah.
suit to look apart.
And I kind of played down. There was a part in the presentation where I said when they was trying to give me that 75 years, I said, "Oh nah," and I started taking it off. It didn't really.
Mm,
I learned how to do warfare in them streets. I learned how to do it. I knew how to do it. Not that I was raised in that way, but I learned how to do it and will do it. So
mm,
I wouldn't. That was partially kind of making a joke about it, but seriously, I learned how to do it. So, but at the same time, I still had principles and morals. So I wasn't around there just going around there putting out a gun and shooting people, killing people just because you mean mugging me,
mm.
right?
Yeah.
So, and plus we had principle and morals about what we did too. You know what I'm saying? All
Mm,
misunderstandings and all situations don't warrant some killing. You see what
mm,
I'm saying? It
mm.
might warrant something else, but it don't necessarily warrant a
Yeah.
killing.
And
You know what
would
I'm saying?
that be, Rob, where I hear and I'm not well versed in this, but it's language that I have heard. I've seen some documentaries when you talk about like DP or discipline for certain things. Would that be more kind of gang affiliated? And when you you hear about G code, street code,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
you might have certain codes where you run a foul on somebody and you got to get certain discipline for it. Is it on that level, or is that more like West Coast street gang type stuff?
Well, it is different between from state to state because when you
Mm-hmm.
get into like with the gangs, they got it's a different set of rules with gangs.
Mm.
It is a little different. See, in DC, we didn't have gangs. They used to call us crews, but we kind of we kind of went by streets, or
Mm,
you was from Northeast. You might say I'm from Northeast, you know what I'm saying, or from Southeast or Southwest or Northwest. So we wasn't really
You
like
wouldn't Crips and Bloods.
gangs. Yeah,
We
we would.
yeah.
Yeah. So they go by a different set of rules. You know, so I
Mhm,
think they have a lot of more. Um, I don't even know what you would call that. You know what I'm saying, but they got a lot of different codes with
mhm,
that when it comes to the
mhm.
gang. We was a little
That's
different.
fair. And that
Yeah.
was just my little side. We don't got to go too deep in there, but I was just wondering if that was kind of the code you're talking to, but it was more so just your own values and morals, or just being a man. Like I ain't gonna hurt no woman or no child, no just
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was codes. It was codes though. It was codes, but it wasn't quite as deep as what some of the gangs might
Yeah,
be.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
jumping you in, blood out. Nah, it
yeah.
wasn't like that.
I got
But
you.
we did have codes though.
Gotcha. So
Yeah.
take me through, like you mentioned, and you can fill in the blank. So you running, you become the beast, the Rob King. You from what I say, you made what I heard, you made the newspaper, you the G of the week, and then you make a mistake, you facing 75 years, and hey, hold up.
Yeah,
This ain't cool as I thought. Walk me through
yeah.
that part of the journey.
But that part of it, when I said, because the FBI came to a friend of my mother's house, um, and they notified me, and I was living down the street, and I didn't think it was for me because they said it was for a particular friend that they was looking for. So when I told one of my partners, he actually said, "Man, you sure?" I was like, "I'm positive they weren't looking for me. They was looking for someone else. This FBI." So it was like a day or two later. Trey, my man, he said, "Man, I need to come see him and show you something." So when he came, he had that Washington Times
Mm,
with my face on it,
mm,
wanted for murder. And
mm,
I promise you, like I said, I went through different phases, right? I I, I didn't grow up inspiring to be the biggest dope dealer ever, the best killer ever. You see what I'm
mm,
saying?
mhm,
That wasn't my inspiration. I evolved into that. However, I learned how to do it. But let me tell you something. There were certain things that humbled me. And that newspaper clipping, I didn't count it as a badge of honor. I said, you
mm,
know what? I'm caught. And
mm,
this time right here that's gonna come with that, they're gonna put me away forever. It got real.
mm,
And
mm,
I did feel like my heart went in my shoe. You see what I'm saying? Because
mhm.
it's like it's a difference. You can act like you tough all you want, but some of them consequences when they come up, them Jones be like, you might
Yeah.
not want the consequences. You know what I
How
mean?
old were you?
I was 19.
Wow. And how
Yeah,
old were
I
you
was
when
I
you
was
got started in the
19.
game?
I had to be like 16 years old.
Mm, mm,
I
mm,
had to be like 16 years old. 15,
mm,
16. Yeah,
mm.
15,
Um,
16.
Let me pause there, man. That's a good pause in place. I'm about to run. I don't got the premium Zoom. I don't pay for it, so I'm about to run out of time. We got 3 minutes left. I just
Uh,
sent over a link in this in the chat. Once you click it, it's gonna ask you to leave this meeting. I'm gonna wait for you to do that, and then I'm gonna open that one up. Okay, and we'll finish up.
okay. I just saw it.
You might have to scroll up or down in the chat.
Uh,
I'll shoot it to your email too, just in case that's easier.
yeah, because I most definitely saw it. No, see it now.
It'd be tricky. Okay, I just sent it to your email.
Okay, let me go on and see if I can get it.
All right, I'm gonna see you in a second.